Hi, minasan domo. Kairi desu. Hi, guys. This is Kairi. Thank you so much for joining me. Today, we're going to be talking about some 7 Knights controversy, apparently, that's going around. So, let's get into it.
What is up, YouTube, and welcome back to another 7 Knights Rebirth video. And this video is not going to be a guide or anything related to gameplay.
So, no, it's not a guide. And I'll be honest, I've watched this guy and I saw his update on 7K chess. And it was then that I realized this person is not coming from a position of knowledge. For all of us that have played the original 7 Knights, 7K chess is not something new. And he, I'm paraphrasing, was saying doesn't make sense or it's confusing, some nonsense like that. So yeah, there's that.
It's going to be talking about something that is kind of going on behind the scenes, not really behind the scenes.
Behind the scenes, not really behind the scenes. This gentleman does this a lot. In the same breath, he makes two contradicting statements, not the same sentence. There's not even a comma in between, in the same breath.
Because it's known to the public. And it's not going to be related to any of the events, which I will touch upon before I even talk about this topic.
Okay.
But I think like the community is in a very sensitive time period because, as you guys probably saw with my last video, I did talk about the current full moon event where you're basically getting these boxes from Ruby farming, which have a very low chance to drop these summon vouchers. And it's the only way to get those summon vouchers to actually summon on this banner. And the reason why that's a problem is because this banner has the Knights of the Old. And it's the only way to summon for them in the game besides from fusing and from getting like a ticket for 200 of Infinity Tower. And just like,
okay. So he just said it right there that there are free to play ways of getting the 7 Knights of Old. Okay. So you can keep fusing. You keep fusing 6-star monsters. And after about 200 attempts, if you don't receive a 7 Knights of Old, then you're guaranteed one. So that's one way. And the other way is to clear floor 200. Floor 200, you get one ticket, which will take a bit of time, but they are free to play methods, right? And I gotta say this, that the 7 Knights of Old are premium units. And even though they're premium units, there are still ways to get them, for free, which is great, right? Albeit slim chance, but it's a chance nonetheless. It gives you a kind of gambling opportunity. I remember in 7 Knights 2, when legendary pets were so rare and so costly to make that, the easiest way to get them was to buy the 7 Knight pet tickets and then kind of keep fusing and fusing, or hopefully you'll get a legendary and then you'll fuse and fuse and fuse until you get another legendary, and you'll keep fusing those legendaries until you get a legendary plus. This game is still pretty new, and if I'm talking about the 7 Knights 2 pets thing, just a couple months down the line, everyone was able to get a legendary pet, and then a few more months down the line, everyone was able to get like a mythical pet. So that's the kind of modus operandi that the games work. So they allow the opportunity for the paid customers, the people who invest, like yourself, like me, to get the opportunity first, or to at least have an easy route to obtain them. And then later on, they allow the free-to-play players to acquire, the thing in question. So it's not disregarding the free-to-play community. And to make such a statement is an incredible disservice.
stuff like that. So because of that, people are pretty upset because you can't guarantee get one as a free-to-play player. And you're going to pretty much have to pay it at 100, which is very annoying because you'll see the rates of getting one is 0.1%. So one app.
It's going to be annoying for you or for me if we have like invested and we need to like reach that pity. But for free to play players, it's kind of a dream. And if they're lucky, they're lucky. That's how they should kind of see it. For them, their goal should be the L plus units, not the L plus plus. Do you see what I mean? That's kind of reaching if you're a free to play player. If you get one, well, hey, good for you. But you know, the goal for now for most free to play players should be, you know, the L plus, and the L plus plus is just a bonanza.
Out of 1,000 pulls, which is 10 pities, you're going to get one. So basically, you're almost always going to pity this character unless you get extremely lucky, and you don't really get enough tickets to do it as a free to play. And the only way you can actually guarantee that you'll be able to get one is by spending on this pack. So you can see I did end up spending.
Yeah.
There's actually two sets of packs. This is the second one. I bought out the first one, which is considerably cheaper,
Yes.
but it gives you a lot less. So this is what I had to spend to get the pity on it, and it basically took me more than $100 USD, which is pretty insane. And you're probably thinking, "Oh my God, why are you buying it?" Well,
you say $100, pretty insane. I don't think you have. You ever played a Netmarble game? Do you know how much Netmarble kind of milks its customers? Oh man, you have no idea.
Is like these characters are just super OP, and because of that, for PvP especially, people are pretty upset. Of course, you won't need it as a free to play player for PvE content, but they're just so good in PvP that if you want to be somewhat competitive, which I plan to be, not like at the top, but somewhat, then they're kind of required. So, long story short, community is in kind of like a not an outrage, but they're pretty upset about it. But to make things worse, there's actually something like that's a bigger problem that I think is happening.
Oh, pray tell, what's this bigger problem?
And you're probably thinking, how is there a bigger problem than like pay to win and like free to play is getting, nothing? Well, there's something that happened actually 2 days ago, I believe, in regards to rewards. So if you actually look at the not the leaderboards, but the App Store rankings, you're going to see this is for Thailand, and I'll explain why this is set to Thailand here. I'm not in Thailand or am I Thai, but
Too much information.
basically you can see Seven Knights Rebirth is like near the top, and I believe it did go to the top at number one for a brief moment, right? So it's a great success in Thailand, and I just want to say, like, I don't have anything against Thai people. I'm not saying anything bad about Thai people or Thailand. It's just like the situation that arose from this just doesn't make sense to a lot of people. I just want to talk about it, right? So nothing against anyone, right?
Oh my goodness. Do you have like white guilt or something? What the hell is wrong with you? So far, nothing you said is attacking Thailand or Thai people. So I'm really confused. The fact that you are so aware, yet you, in one of your summoning videos, decide to call out the entire 7K community and just call them weird. I'm just perplexed.
But basically, it did do very well in Thailand, which is great for the game. But if you look at like other regions, so like I'm US based, you can see it's not like grossing as highly, right? But the game released in global together with Thailand, with US, with China, with like every other country besides like what Korea, and we're kind of supposed to be together in terms of like actually I guess like every region should be together in like events, but like in terms of rewards and stuff like that, I feel like the global region should be getting similar rewards for the release, right? Well, it so happens that because of it reaching number one in the Thai market, right, which is great, they got a ton of extra stuff. So they got, I think that's 1 mil gold. It looks like a mushroom, but I do believe it's gold. I'm not really too sure. You get 20 regular summons, you get 20 rate up summons, you get 100 keys, and you get 50 of those power up mats.
So this is the one point I can kind of agree with him on, and I see where he's coming from. That the reward, it should say probably, thank you, number one, reaching in the Thailand. Here's a gift for everyone and not just Thailand. But that's as far as my agreement goes.
So this basically equates to about like 5K rubies, I'd say. Probably even, yeah, somewhere around 5K rubies, which is pretty great, right? It's like 5 days of ruby farming, which is pretty insane for free to play players. And this reward was only given to Asia. So I'm going to pull up this.
Oh, Jesus Christ, it's a geography lesson. All right, back to our geography lesson.
Map here, it's really scuffed. I know it's not like high tech or anything, but just very, very quickly, like I want to explain like how the game actually works in terms of regions. So most people know this because there was like a huge, outrage at the start of the game when it launched in global, but the game's region locked, right? If you make an account in the US region, you are locked to the US Americas region. I think it's linked with Europe as well. And I think it's also linked with China. I'm not too sure about that though. I don't think so. Maybe it is, but
I think it's linked with China. I'm not too sure about that. No, it's not. Like, this guy just makes contradicting statements in just a single breath. Is this a common occurrence for him?
yeah, I don't think so, but maybe. But regardless, like it's like US and Europe together, and then if you are making an account in like Vietnam or like Thailand, for example, or somewhere in Southeast Asia, Indonesia, you guys are looped together as well. So we have like a global server, but it's not really a global server. It's like global NAEU and like global Southeast Asia and like Asia, and then we have Korea, right? As like the third region. So like for me personally, this was annoying at the start because I wasn't able to play with people that I'm friends with online from like different countries, like from Thailand, from Vietnam as well.
Really? You have friends in Thailand and Vietnam? Really? How convenient.
Oh, so
White guilt much?
I was like, oh, that's pretty annoying. So we're playing on different servers, and the way you have to bypass it is by making a VPN, and then not making a VPN, making an account on VPN, and then logging in the country. So I would have to make one in Asia if I wanted to play in Asia. Then every time I start up the PC client, I would have to use my VPN to start the game, and then I can turn it off, which is what I do now actually, which is like a lot of hurdles. So that was like what ended up happening, and people were pretty annoyed. And I think like now people are even more annoyed because people thought that the region lock was just for just like account creation for just for server purposes, like server overload. But it looks like now different regions are getting different rewards based on what happens. So
All right, so I want to talk about 7 Knights of Old, and I don't mean that as a pun. I mean literally the old 7 Knights. Okay, so I've got this screen up here for you guys. So this is the collaborations that came out way back when the original 7 Knights was out. And as you can see, if you look at Blast Blue, everyone else got these three, but Japan also got Kokonoe, right? And if you look at Guilty Gear, everyone was here, everyone was here. If you look at Devil May Cry, it says Kakao and says Japanese. So these ones were only released for the Korean server and the Japanese server. Bleach as well. You've got Ichigo, Ulquiorra, Orihime, Toshiro, and Grimmjow. So these were also Kakao and Japanese. So the point I'm trying to make is this is not a new thing for 7 Knights or for Netmarble, right? This happened in the past. It may happen in the future unless they've learned their lesson and they are interacting a lot more with the community now. Like at the moment, what's going on is there's a survey and they give you more rewards. They give you 7 hero tickets as opposed to 3 if you give like detailed answers. So I think in places like that, you can really express your concern. But anyway, let's get back to this guy.
I'm not saying, oh my god, they shouldn't get these rewards. It's like if you're gonna do these rewards, I feel like you should give it to everyone because like everyone is in the global
This gentleman says, like so much, I'm getting an aneurysm.
region, as they say. And if they're not going to do this for everyone, like why don't they just say that the regions are separate? And then even then, like if you separate rewards per region, it's just like super, super bad for the game. Not a lot of games will go far if you just region lock a lot of things, not just like the servers, but like rewards and events. So, I think it's like a very, very interesting situation for me. Like I said, I am not too like upset about it because I don't really see this as a game that I might play forever. Honestly, just being quite frank.
I mean, yeah, you don't really care much about the community. You made that clear when you called them weird.
Because there's a lot of good games hanging out and stuff like that. But
There are some good ones. I'm looking forward to Chaos Zero Nightmare. Just an afterthought.
Pretty shitty situation, to be frank. And, you know, on top of like this full moon summon banner that's going on, I think like you can argue which is like a bigger issue. Honestly, probably this one, but for me, because I spend, it's not as big an issue. But for free to play players, this is also the issue. It just feels really weird. Like 2 weeks into the game's launch, we have this stuff happening, and there's not even a lot of transparency about it, right? It was.
I mean, 2 weeks into the game, like, what do you expect? You haven't even given the game time to simmer, especially for the global. Do you know what I mean? Maybe wait till the 100-day anniversary and see if you get like a free legendary pet or a free 7 Knights of Old, or do you know what I mean? And when those 7 Knights of Old come out, during that time, there's going to be something bigger and better that's going to be easily accessible for paid people again. And then later on, that same thing is going to be accessible for free to play. And then later on from there, something new and bigger and better is coming out, and paid people are going to get that privilege again. And then a few months later, the free play. Like, that's kind of their modus operandi.
Isn't even announced anywhere, so it's very confused about it. I kind of want to say I'm quite disappointed in the direction the game
He's disappointed.
is going. I still will cover the game for a bit, at least for October.
Of course you will. You've got to make your money somehow, right? All you got to do is throw out videos that you know nothing about, and then you got 40,000 people already subscribed to you, so all they need to do is watch. You make it with this one's 8 minutes 30 seconds long, so you're meeting the requirement for the first advert and the mid-roll advert.
But moving forward, not really too sure. I probably won't spend as much on the game.
And that is your prerogative. And I think he makes a very good point there. If you don't like the game, you don't invest in the game. You don't pay for it, because the easiest way and the hardest way to hit someone is in their pockets, right?
Like I said in my previous videos, I'm not free to play. I think I saw earlier yesterday, or maybe it was the day before, it was like 800 some. So I did spend quite a bit, but not like on the levels of like the Omega whales. So yeah, we'll play a bit more, but we'll have to see. I think we're not going to get any announcements about it because it is like a holiday weekend. But hopefully something happens and we get something, because this is kind of annoying.
You're annoying. Anyway, before we finish off, because this guy's voice annoys me as well. He says like a billion times. He makes contradictory statements. All right, I'm going off on a tangent. So, if you guys really want to make a change, my advice would be to talk to Netmarble either through their Discord or through their official their website, the Netmarble support system, and the Netmarble site where you see all the updates and information and stuff like that. Because if you guys remember, there was a whole debacle on Epic 7 with a character called Huayong, and everyone, the whole community rushed to express themselves. Not only did they rush to express themselves, some of them, I think, went to the headquarters and kind of protested outside, and change was made, which, we are the customers. Even if you're free to play, what you're providing is time. Now, it's not as beneficial to them as actual money, but you are still a customer, right? And maybe you're even a low spender, like you bought that Lena pack right at the beginning, which was really cheap. But yeah, if you have a complaint, like we need to get together as a community and kind of put it forward. If you just complain and whinge and that's it, or you don't really provide a solution, then it's not really going to go anywhere, and no one's really going to listen to you. So that's just my 2 cents about it. I would say I'd like to thank the gentleman, but I'm not particularly fond of him and his style, and just him generally. It just So anyway, questions, comments, concerns, even criticisms, by all means, exercise your freedom to write what you want down below, and I'll see you in the next video. 자, 민나, 서로 안녕, 자네, 잘자, bye bye, see you, oyasumi, good night, peace.